Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday already. Wow, this week's flying as well. What's going on, people? Good morning. Come on in. We're colouring in the SHAC today. We have been all week, haven't we? Is the volume okay? Dear Steve Ellen, if you're in the building, just ping me a little text and let me know that everything is fine. I'd appreciate it. Come on in. Good morning. Good to have your company. We're early to the party. It's only 5 to 10. It's always good to get in early, isn't it? Hey? Get in early. Get all our pencils ready. I do love this, you know. It's really becoming a working part of my life. Very much so. And I really am enjoying colouring in these hummingbirds. What about you? I know you are, because I was looking at the results that you're posting on Clarity Worldwide. Wow. So lovely. And what I love, really, is that you're putting your own spin on it. Don't want it to be solid black. Want it to be totally black in the background. I'm just looking at the way you are sprinkling your own creativity on it. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Really special. And come on in, grab a seat, bring your tea with you. I think one of the best things is as well, like this week, you know, every week we have a kind of a general topic, don't we? It's for me more than anything, so I know what to waffle about. And I was thinking this week, it's all about that focusing on the detail, you know, and that when you're focusing on the detail, the minutiae, you're completely focused and you're distracted, aren't you? Which is the object of the exercise here, isn't it? In our SHAC. You know, the whole idea is to get away from all that's going on out there. It's been going on for months now. It's wearing, isn't it? Wearing. Can't believe it. Can't believe what's going on. You know, we just seem to be rolling from one calamity into another one. And I'm still not sure whether the pandemic's over or not, is it? I don't know. NTW, none the wiser. So I'm quite happy up here above the garage in my little shack. Come on in. How is everybody? How are you? Is it just me? Is it me? I'm here and sound is good. Good. Steve Ellen is in the building with you. Not in my building, in your building. So if you've got any questions, Steve's your man. Great lad. Knows lots about lots at Clarity, which is great to have his company today. So if you have any questions, or if you want to sign up for our newsletter, you know, if you signed up for our Clarity newsletter, it's not a selly one, not at all. We don't stalk you. It just means that then whenever we put a new YouTube out or we do a new SHAC, the link comes directly to you. You don't have to look for us. You know, the link comes to you. So you don't miss anything. If we're doing TV shows, you know, you get a heads up. Like today, is it today? Yeah, today we're on television on Hochanda, home of craft, hobbies and art. So hochanda.com. We're on there at 1 o'clock and I think it's 5 o'clock today. 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. There's loads of loveliness on Hochanda. Great little outfit, brilliant TV channel. I'm proud to be a member of the Hochanda family. So, yeah, and I think Paul Church, he's taken over this week and he's doing some really smashing demos with dyes. They're really nice ones as well. They're the sort of landscapey ones, panoramic views. And he's doing dyes and groovy. So for all you parchers out there, head on over to Hochanda at 1 o'clock and watch Paul in action. So come on in and then we can crack on with our hummingbirds. Today it's Hummingbird Day. I've been practicing. This week, Dee Paramore, darling friend, she gave us this to work with because she knew I was going to be busy. So we're heading in this direction, which is a great vehicle. Apart from being a beautiful piece of artwork, it's also a great vehicle for learning blending tricks. So, well, that's what we've been doing for the last couple of days. We've done the flowers, and today we're doing the hummingbirds. So it's 10 o'clock. Welcome to the Shack. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. And whilst several of our family, our friends have had to go back to work or are able to go back to work, lots of us are still hanging out, it would appear. Hundreds of us, isn't that lovely? From all over the world as well, which is great. I love that. I love that we've got a really safe, creative little community going here. And we meet every day at 10 o'clock, Monday to Friday, don't we? We get our pencils out and our bits of paper. Don't need a lot to join in, really, except time. Time and an open mind, really. It's that positivity thing, isn't it? It's saying I can rather than I can't. And it's not a competition, we know that. Nobody's competing. Of course there are going to be brilliant artists in the building, and there are going to be people that have never held a pencil. You know, who cares? Who cares? Yesterday we were talking about, is it the product, is it the result, or is it the process? You know, what is it that turns you on? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you want that mental yoga, that distraction, regardless of the outcome? Or is it that you want that and you want to learn? That's a little bit, for me, that's the way it works. Because we're crafters, aren't we? We have an inquiring mind. So, you know, you decide what you want to do. Don't beat yourself up if it's not perfect. Who cares? Practice makes perfect. And even if practice doesn't make perfect, practice will definitely improve your game all day long, you know? So we're not looking for perfection. We do not seek perfection here, do we? We don't. We seek joy in our creativity. Of course, it's getting deep, isn't it? Come on, let's get these birds going. So I thought yesterday, for example, on Monday, we looked at these beautiful flowers, the peachy coloured ones, and we learnt how to blend different colours, didn't we? And it was interesting because we used a fleshy colour. I'll just recap just quickly. We used really these colours made that. Wasn't that interesting? You know. So I'm sure I wrote it on the back. Medium flesh, rose carmine, and dark cadmium orange. And when you blend them, that is what you get. Isn't that amazing? And then yesterday we were working on the fuchsias, die Fuchsien, and in that moment we were using pink madder, middle purple pink, and magenta. So in my tin of goodies here, let me just get my tin over. We're on the polychromos this week. It's these three here, I think it was those three. It was that one, and that one. Them three. There. Somebody was asking the other day, how do you store your pencils? I keep them in the tin they came in. Actually, these ones, I keep them in the tin they came in. I've got you know, one of those all set for when we're allowed out of the building again. You know, the pergamano, the tool caddies. I've got one here for all my tool. This is the one that I put all my parchment tools in. This one, yeah. But I've also got one which has got loads of pencils, all my colouring pencils in, and that keeps them safe. But for the purpose of this exercise, where I sit and colour every day, I just keep them in the tin. Or I keep them in the box. My pergoliners, same thing. I think they're safe. And then I can see if I'm missing one. I know, oh, hang on a minute, I've lost one of my blues, or oh, I've lost one of my... Whereas if I keep it in a pencil case, not sure. So today we're going to look at the hummingbird. And I thought, because we've done peaches, we've done fuchsias and pinks and purples. So I thought, I want to get into the tealy area, this area. I thought we'd have a go at this one. Is everybody in the building? We don't know that. But are you in the building and are you ready to go? Are we ready to have a little colour? Yeah? I thought we'd do this one. I I've got my clean one ready to go, my work in progress, my whip. And this is the one that I was playing with. So I haven't finished it yet. It's not done, but it'll do for now. I certainly got my colours in, and I know how I want to do the eye, and I know how I want to do the belly. I've worked out what colours I'm going to use to blend a different colour for the tummy. Shall I go in close so you can see it? Let's have a little look here. Just bear with me a second. Let it... There. So that's where I'm sort of heading in that direction. Now let's have a look at Dee's finished one. There, look at that. Magnificent, isn't it? Wow. Absolutely spectacular. So mine's not ready yet, and it ain't over until it's over, is it? So let's have a look. The first thing we need to do is establish colours. So the ones that I want to use today, the ones that I'm using, right, you ready to get going? Come on then. Do you remember I always say light, medium, dark? So we've got light. This is my light, medium and dark. And I'm going with cobalt green, which is number 156. Then I'm using cobalt turquoise, which is 153. And I'm using Prussian blue, which is 246. Now, I'm going to say this once again, right? It is of no importance which particular colours, even though I've given you the numbers. It's only because I know a lot of you, you look at the box and you say, well, I want to do it the way you're doing it. I want to know what colour combination you're using. And so I'm offering you that. But that doesn't mean that you can't pick any colours. Any colours. And I remember having a conversation with Dee about this, and she deliberately didn't look up the colour of hummingbirds. She just went to the tin and decided to go bright and beautiful, vibrant, because they really are. They're like little shimmers, little flashes of metallic turquoise and gold and red and orange. You know, they're amazing colours. But these are the three colours that I'm going to go with. And if you're using your pergoliners, you've got really, they've got some beautiful, it's the blues and the yellows and the greens that you're looking for if you want to go down this road. But I mean, you do whatever colour you like. Do whatever flaps your flares. Okay? Now, let's have a look, because when I looked at Dee's, let's have a look. When I looked at Dee's, I noticed that the tummy, it was illuminated. See how it's brighter than this area? It's a different colour, isn't it? So I thought, what can we add to get that vibrance? So if you look, mine's different too. See, I've added a different colour within the belly area. So I thought I would show you what I've done, and then you'll see it's just a blending trick. It's just a way of getting a tone that maybe you haven't got in your tin. Yeah? So I'm going to start, first of all, so these are the colours. Oh, I'm going to use a yellow, and it's the same yellow as we used yesterday for the stamen. It's that yellow glaze. Pick a yellow, any yellow. Right, and first thing we're going to do, I tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to lean on something. I'm leaning on my groovy card. You can lean on anything you like. And I want to put down, right, I want to lay down a layer of this, the turquoise one, no, not turquoise, cobalt green, right? And I'm just going to concentrate on the tummy area first, on this bit here, right? Just that bit there, really, really lightly, really, really lightly. Right, so even though this could be really dark, if I wanted it to be, what I'm going to do is press really, really, it's almost like levitating. Look, you can barely see it. And we're just going to lay down a colour. Let me get me a Dame Edna's on. Wrong glasses. God, I tell you what, I've got a headache today. I woke up with a stonker and I cannot shift it. I think it's this change in weather patterns, isn't it? Right, let's get this one done first. Just gently, gently over the top. See, I started a little bit on the black as well. Just to see. Just get a layer in. Then I won't be spending too long just doing black, because I'm doing it bit by bit. Right, so little circular motions like that. See how we've got that? So we've got an undercoat now, just an underlayer, but really lightly. I mean, that's the thing about these polychromos and also the bee pencils. They're unique in the Pergoliner box as well. They're unique in as much as they're oil based, and so they blend. So now, for example, I've put down an undercoat of that cobalt green, and now I'm going to take a yellow. Can you actually see that? Let's get in a bit tighter. Let me get up on my little porch. Hang on. Here we go. Let's see if I can get in a bit tighter. This will be easier. There, that's better. Woohoo! Still got these fantastic flowers, Karen. Look at them. Amazing. Fantastic. I wonder if they'll last the week. They're glorious, aren't they? That's been nearly a fortnight now. Wow. Okay, so let's have a look. So now I've done a light undercoat with the... Is everybody happy? Are we all okay? And now I'm going to go over the whole area again, but with the yellow, just lightly. Going to bob backwards and forwards between the two colours. Right, now. So I've put a bit of yellow down. Yeah? Okay. So we've got the yellow over the top of the turquoise. Not turquoise, sorry, I just think it's turquoise. It's not turquoise, it's cobalt, it's a green, it's a cobalt green. Just the light one of the three. And then what I'll do is, do you remember, hang on, let me just move it that way. You remember we were talking about using like the flat, so we get a chisel going, don't we? See? So your little circular motions, and eventually, see how flat the pencil, the colouring pencil get. So now we're going to take this and we're going to come round the outside. So we're going to stay a little bit closer to the edge now, and we're using just light circular motions all the way around here. Let's see how we can blend these colours. Right, there you go. So in we go. If you want it to be a bit darker, do you remember I said you just get up on your haunches so that the nib is a little bit sharper then, isn't it? You don't have to press harder, it just gets sharper. Right, there you go. In you go like that. See, if you look at D's, let's just pull D's in. You can see, so it's really dark there, isn't it? And dark there, right? But it's light in the middle. So it looks like the light is coming up from underneath. It's really lovely. So and if you look at mine, it's not quite finished, but it's the same thing. I've got the blue coming in here, but I'm leaving that bit light, see? So it looks like it's illuminated from underneath. That's all. But you can see that this is quite granular at the moment, isn't it? And then we're going to go into this area here, underneath these feathers. We'll just pop these in here, like that. I looked up loads of interesting facts about hummingbirds for us today. I mean, I knew a little bit because from when, you know, our house in New Mexico, there are hummingbirds in New Mexico, beautiful. And we put feeders outside the kitchen window so we can watch them. It's spectacular, right? And when they come in early in the morning, they come in and they hover. There's a real pecking order because we put the feeders out at the window, and when they come in, what do we feed them? First of all, they're nectar feeders, right? You need to know that they're nectar feeders. They don't eat seeds. They eat nectar. So you've got these big. I'll just show you. They're like that, and we make them red. The framework, the plastic, and they fill. You put sugar water in them basically. You have to clean them out regularly, but it's best to just put sugary water in it. They love that, right? Because they like nectar. right? But the structure is because they don't smell. It's colour that attracts them. So if you make the feeder bright red or yellow or orange, right, they'll be drawn to brightness, and they come in and they hover in queues. So and the reason they're called hummingbirds is because of the noise that their wings make. They go so fast, right? Really, just you can hear them when they come in, and they hover, and it's like a stack. It's like aeroplanes coming in. It's just unbelievable. And then one comes in, and then I think the other ones must go, come on, oi, you've had enough, move on. And we've got like these 3 feeders, and it's like aeroplanes stacking as they come in, and then they fly off, and then the one from behind goes in, and I think the one from the front, he goes off and licks his lips, and then he gets in at the back of the queue again, and they go zzz, 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 and they'll stay for about 10 seconds, and then they fly away, and the next one comes in. It's just insane, yeah. And provided that you keep the feeders clean, they'll come and come and come. It's just, and they must tell all their friends as well, because it gets quite congested. It gets quite busy, you know. Yeah. So I'm just adding a little bit of shadow around here now. I'm still using that the lighter of the 3 colours, because you can always add it, can't we? Right, now let's just try something. Take your blending, if you've got a blending pen. Let's take a blending pen. Let me just get a new one. Just find a new nib. So I need to start with a clean nib so you can see how it works. There's one. Right. So I just want to show you how these blending nibs, how you can, I only need the one nib for the whole thing. But you'll see when I start to go over the top now, the colours will start to blend into one another. So the yellow goes into the blue. Just gently, we're just going to, I don't want to press too hard or I'll crush the nib as well. But we'll just start blending these colours in the first layer, see? See how it smooths it out? It's really cool. So we've done that layer, smoothed it out a bit. It's very warm in here above the garage today, in my SHAC. Right, and then I'm thinking, so then you can go to the next colour, go to the darker one, and let's just have a look. This one's the turquoise, the cobalt turquoise. And then we'll get our flat going again. Just all I'm doing is that, see, just to get the flat. And then I'll go in again, and this time I'll stay a little bit closer, just a little bit closer to the edge. See, and I'll bring the artwork round so it's comfortable for me. There we go. And I can turn it, I can flip it so that if I want to get a bit tighter and darker, here we go, look. So I flip the pencil and then I can get in much tighter around that edge, see? So if I want it to be darker down here, you just add layer on layer, look. There are no rules, not that I've read anything about rules. I'm trying to keep my head out of the way. Yeah. So you just come in like this. Just get in there underneath those feathers with the darker colour. And then just smooth it out a bit with the flat of the pencil. So we're working with the second colour now. So you see how it's starting to build, but you leave that nice colour in the middle, that yellowy greeny colour. Don't worry, we'll blend that in. Right. And then I just bounce backwards and forwards between the colours, you see. So then we'll take the flat of the lighter one and we'll reinforce that colour a bit. And maybe I might even add a little bit more yellow just to add a bit more zhuzh. See? So you just get those colours all blending like that. That's all I do. I just bounce between the 3 colours. And I'm the dark one I haven't used yet, see? I haven't used the dark one at all yet. but you can see how you pick up lovely depth of colour. And it's a colour that's not in the tin. It's there are so many different blends, aren't there? And then you blend. So you go into the lighter area there, and then you just start blending out. Layer on layer on layer. See? Nice. So we can leave that bit now. We can always come back to that. Yeah. We can always come back to that. We've still got this bit here to look at. So let's check out. Let's have a look. See, so we've got that going now, that bit. That one's a little bit yellower than that one, but who cares? They're different birds. Now, let's have a look at this bit. Let's do this bit now. You ready for that? Are you happy with this? Let's have a look. So we've got the yellow down, haven't we? We put a bit of yellow in. Maybe we put a bit more yellow in. Come on. It's a different bird, this one. This one's at the front of the queue. But now what we want to do is start adding a bit of shade. So if you see how you want to make it look as if they're layered on top of one another, don't you? So the tips of the feathers are light, and then what's tucked in at the top is going to be darker. So if you look at, let's have a look at these real close, and that will really show off what I'm talking about. You see how the tips of the feathers are light, but then they're tucked in so it looks dark. So that's what we want to do now. That's the object of the exercise. So I'm going to use those two there. Those two. I think the main thing is, let me just see if I can just make sure I don't get my head in the way. That's the main thing. See, now this is quite tight, isn't it? So what we want to do is, now we need we need a little bit of a sharpening. I need to sharpen my pencil a little bit. I do, because I want to get in. Where's that other sharpener? Got all different ones here. This is quite a good one. The thing about sharpening, this is a Spectrum Noir one. See, the thing about sharpening your pencils is you just go slowly. See, that's quite a good one. Just, even the best pencils in the world will break if you sharpen them too quickly. The wood can't keep up with the blades. So when you sharpen, just go slowly. You'll soon know if you've got a dud sharpener. You so will. But there are good sharpeners around. People like this one a lot. This is good. Get it on Amazon, I think. And there's another one, but I can't find it at the moment. That's quite good as well. But Spectrum Noirs, that works. Just go slowly. Okay. Faber-Castell do a really good metal one. Very good. I've got loads of these. Look, I've got so many pencil sharpeners. Pick a pencil sharpener, any pencil sharpener, said the crafter. Oh, there's that white tack I've been looking for. Right, now you want to get in on the tip bit, not the tip, the inside. So what I'm doing now is I'm interested in this area here, look. So I'm just going to do light feathery strokes halfway down the tip. Can you see this okay? I think it's quite tight, isn't it? Right, so all I'm doing is with my really sharp pencil now, I'm just going into those tips. You know, I was saying about focusing on the detail, like really, like now looking at one little feather on a bird, or like yesterday we went for a walk and I concentrated really hard on one little leaf on one huge tree, and I just stared at it and I thought, I wanted to know, do the veins, it was on a beech tree, and I wanted to know exactly, because they were almost translucent. Like, so they were layered up. I won't use that pencil to show you what I mean. But say a beech tree, a beech leaf is like that, right, let's just say, right? And they were layered up on top of one another, like so. And what was really beautiful was that the light was pouring through, so it was like all dappled. But when I looked at the leaves, because it was all shimmering, but when I looked at the leaves, you got like where this leaf overlapped that leaf, this was a darker green. So this was light green, this was slightly darker, this would be slightly darker. And where a leaf overlapped, say 4, it got really dark and dark. So it was like a jigsaw puzzle of different shades of the same green. And I stared and stared and stared at it. And then I wanted to see, did the veins, do they go like that? Or do they go like that? You know, 'cause some leaves do that, some leaves do. Well, the news is, on this particular beech, they go like that. See, really, and actually quite tight as well. So, but the point I'm making is, although this has got nothing to do with what we're doing here, it's got everything to do with it. In as much as it was about the detail, because I just spent a while, I won't say hours, but a while, focusing on the on this one little set of leaves. I was lost in that world, and it answered questions for me. I was distracted. I wasn't thinking about anything else other than that little set of leaves. See, and that in itself is a real mindful process. You know, mindful as in I was right there in the woods with the leaves and nothing else. You know, it was really, really healing, cathartic, good for you. Because it's a massive distraction. And what we're doing now, although there are those that would say, really, spending all that time just putting a little bit of blue on a bird. It's like, yeah, but you don't understand. It will look amazing when it's done. Take the next darker colour and get that sharper, not even sharper, but get that sharp as well. Right, now we're talking about the darker colour. So we've got that colour down. See, we've left the light at the end of the feathers. You see that all right? Let's come in tight and see if you can see. It's obvious what we're doing, really. Right, see? So now what we've done is we've put the darker colour to the top, haven't we? And what we're going to go is go back in on the dark colour, but put a tiny little fleck of the darkest, not the darkest, the second one. Remember? We've got 1, 2, and then the dark blue. 1, 2, and then the Prussian blue. So I'm using the middle one now. And I'm leaning on something. And this time, though, what I want to do is, rather than go over the whole thing again, now I'm really just putting a tiny little fleck in the same place as I put the lighter colour. Just in that. And what that will do is it will give the illusion of it being tucked in. Don't worry, we'll blend it as well. That really does the job too. How are you anyway? Are you all right? See? Get totally lost in it. And the lovely thing about these postcards, it's brilliant really. You've got, look how many, you've got Hummingbird 1, Hummingbird 2, Hummingbird 3, Hummingbird Beak 4. Yeah. Now let me just tidy this up a bit. So I've got 4 different hummingbirds. I'm flicking away from myself. You can do what you like, whatever works for you. And you can layer up. I could spend days doing these hummingbirds if I had the time. But for me, see, the more you do this, the more dimensional it gets. It's brilliant, really. You need good eyes, though, or a magnifier. I reckon this will go really nicely. Right, I bet that's it, isn't it? Let's have a look. Let's just have a look. So it looks a bit dappled at the moment, doesn't it? Now, where's that blending tool? So what we'll do now is we'll take our blending tool and we'll go from the dark into the light, like that. Just blend it in. And that way it takes out that yellowness, but it blends it in fantastic. Look, watch. Just go into the dark area and then just flick it, light feathery strokes, gently, gently, and you flick it into the light area. But by the time you get to the bottom of the feather, you pretty much, you're up, you're running. The other thing about, hummingbirds, this is, they're fascinating little things. Do you know they are so tiny as well? You can't imagine how small this little hummingbird is, right? Until you actually stand in front of it. They're so tiny. They're like the size. They weigh the same as a nickel or a 5p piece. There you go. That's how tiny they are. The average weight of a hummingbird. Imagine that. It eats twice its body weight every day. If I did that, I wouldn't have much time to do any colouring if I was eating twice my body weight every day. Yeah. They must go like the clappers. Right, doesn't that look pretty now? Right, so just leave that thought. Just go, done that bit now. We can do more. Just keep it going. Just the theory of it, right? And I was thinking what we could do is look at the eye. Should we look at the eye? And then we'll look at the head, and then we'll do the big leaves, the feathers. Right? Now the eye. When you look at a hummingbird's eye, they're black as black, right? Black as black. And so if that's the eye there, then what we want to do is we want to leave a good portion of this white, like that almost. I would pretty much leave that as the white area and then put the black around the back of it like that. Do you see what I mean? So I'm going to do it with a pencil. What have I got here? HB, just to show you. If I was to go in like that now and do that with the black, I'm doing it with a pencil before I do it with like so. Sometimes it's easier. And you could always add a little bit more around there. You'll see, look. That's it really. I'd rather than go in the colour, see on that one I went a bit, see how they are huge black eyes. Huge black eyes. So I'll do it with a pencil. I can always go over it with black later, right? But let's say that that's going to be the eye. Look, looks much more, much gentler now, not so spiteful. Well, the bigger the pupil, the gentler the look, isn't it? So let's say that that's the eye. That's that sorted. Now the beak. Let's look at the beak, and let's look at the head. So I'm going to go for my. You cool with this? We've got the colours, haven't we? I looked at the beak and I thought, you could do brown beaks. Of course you can. See, Dee did really nice. She did browns. And what I'm going to do, just because it's different, I'm going to take the colours of the birds and make the beaks like in that similar vein. So I'm going to use like the dark blue, you see, and turn it. And then if I do that one red, I'll use dark red, the darkest colour, to do the beak. I just thought it would be nice to do that. It's choices, isn't it? So what I'll do now to get the head, let's do the head first, and we'll just get a nice under. We'll use the flat of the pencil, and we'll just get a nice under colour on the head. Just get it started. There you go. Just like we did before with the tummy, but no yellow. So we're just using a nice light colour comfortable with this? Go on, nearly come off the page there. Okay. Cool. Let's do that. Just round there like that. The other thing about hummingbirds, right? This is all amazing stuff, really. And I knew this. I but I did look it up to confirm that I was saying the right thing. They're the only bird in the world that can fly backwards. They actually can fly backwards, and I remember watching a hummingbird in slow-mo because I thought, I want to know how they can do that. How do they fly backwards, right? So we've done the light colour there, haven't we? And now what I want to do is just underneath on the cheek, just here, do a little bit of blue and around the eye. But I'm kind of leaving an area of whiteness. Look, just it's easier to leave it now than try and reintroduce it later. And it will make the eye larger. Right, so now it's just options really. So I've got the second colour in place now. Right, so we're just doing that. Yeah, so I watched this video in slow motion to see how a hummingbird goes backwards. Because I've watched them, like I say, when in Mountain Air, when I watch them at the feeders, when they're kind of they're coming into land and they're coasting. What was it called with planes when they're stacked in the sky? You know, it's quite incredible. So I was watching. You know, when you watch them, you can see that when they move off the I've got to stretch my neck. When they move away from the feeder, they go backwards. They reverse, right? So they don't fly off to the. They go backwards. So it's really great actually when you think about it. There's quite a lot of social distancing. They're not all at the trough, right? There's a goodly distance. If that's the feeder and there's one on the little perch and they've got a tongue, right? And this tongue, it just goes into this feeder. The feeders are like little mock flowers where the nectar comes in, and this tongue goes so fast. It's faster than when you could ever see it. I think it's like 17 times a second or something. This tongue darts in and out, long thing. So there's a little bird sitting on the feeder with his tongue going, grrr, right? And then there's about that much of a gap. Seriously, it's got to be about that much before the next one. So when this one's finished, he goes backwards, and then he flies away, and then the next one comes in. But they always leave enough distance so that the one feeding can come backwards before he leaves. Fascinating. And so I watched this film of this hummingbird, these hummingbirds in slow motion, because I could see that they're going like that, right? Because they seldom just sit when they're feeding. They're actually still flying. They hover while they're feeding, right? Sometimes they'll sit on the perch, but mostly they're still going. They seldom stop flying, right? So the hummingbird's going like this, and then when it goes backwards, the weirdest thing happens with its wings. It suddenly turns and it starts going that way. So instead of going that way all the time, it's like us in the swimming pool when you get to the end and you have to go backwards on backstroke, right? If you ever did that, right? But it's fascinating to watch a bird doing that, which is the only thing that most birds can. Any other birds, hummingbird's the only one that can do this. And then suddenly it must have some weird joints up here, and it suddenly goes the other way, and then it's going that way, but like very, very fast, like thousands of these going, and all you can hear is a. It's just amazing, beautiful little things, and so tiny, so tiny. Right, let's get a focus back on here. So we'll go to the middle one just to recap. And we're going to add the shade around there now, like so, right? And we could actually add a little bit more colour in there. Right. Another bit of interesting information about a hummingbird. This is fascinating too. You know, most of the birds, when they migrate in flocks, don't they? They go more banded. They don't all, you know, you could get 500 in a flock, can't you? Just lots of birds all go together. They all fly south for the winter or so. Well, hummingbirds, they fly solo. And sometimes they fly 500 miles at a time, solo. So they're loners. They're loners. That's interesting. That these little fellas, they don't actually hang out together that much. And there was something else that I found out that I was reading up on, which really is quite astounding. They found out, I mean, you know, we always say, oh, elephants have got great memories. Well, apparently, the hummingbird, it not only has an amazing, like a stellar memory, it also, it has what's called an episodic memory, which they actually always only thought that humans, they only ever thought that having an episodic memory, what that means is that you can not only remember something, right, but you can remember it in its original context. So in other words, when and where it happened, what, when and where. That's episodic. That's an episodic memory. So these little tiny birds have the same, they have that ability. They can remember what happened, where it happened, you know, and when it happened. Don't ask me how they found out. I mean, I don't speak hummingbird, but what about that though? Isn't that just crazy? Right. Don't want to overcook it, but you can see I'm just building up the layers. I'm leaving that nice and light there, a bit of contrast. It's good, isn't it? So that's the head, that's the eye. Do you like? See? Now, how about the beak? Do you want to have a go at the beak? I think that would be nice. This time we're going to grab the darker one, the Prussian blue. So, because we're going to use some blue in here and there and everywhere afterwards. So let's have a look. Now, what I want to do though is I want to get a really light colour. So the Prussian blue is really dark, but of course if we hardly press, it's just a tone, isn't it? It's a tone of a colour. So let's hardly press at all. And let's just get the colour in the beak. Right, let's just get the colour in the beak first. Hardly pressing, go right up to the eye, like that. That'll work, won't it? I reckon. Right, you got that? I mean, you might want to do what Dee did, make it brown. Do what you fancy. It's your beak. It's your beak, madam. Right, and then what I want to do now, though, is I want to make a, because obviously it opens and closes, doesn't it? So there's going to be a divide right down the middle. So I'm using the chisel now, the chisel side, like I flipped it. So rather than the flat, I'm using the sharp side. And I'm going to come down to about there, right? I reckon about there. And I'm just going to do a really light, can always add the detail later with a really sharp pencil. I just want to come down the darker side, the dark side, like that. There you go. So that's going to be the under. Yeah. That'll do. Gently does it. Gently does it. How is everybody? Are you enjoying this? See, the thing is, if we just get the detail down on the eyes and the head and the body, the feathers, then you could spend the afternoon just adding amazing colour to the other birds, couldn't you? That's what I was thinking anyway. That's what I thought would be a good idea. So now let's just get that dark colour in there. And I will use my blending pen just to tone down. I'm going to use a different colour though. There you go. I just want to tone down this colour a little bit. So see how it changes it, look. Just smooths it out nicely. Gently does it, right down to the tip. Right, let's get that colour going. All right. There's something about this really intricate kind of colouring that is so good for the soul. Let's have a look now. Yep. Do you get it? See, and then you can always, once you've toned it down a little bit, get your sharper. I need to sharpen it to make sure I get in really well on that. Right. Right, really nice and sharp. And I want to come in there. I just want to add a little bit of form to that opening. There you go. Just gently does it. Then I think about there, I'll probably make it darker. There. Superb. I do love these illustrations by Mel. Just love these illustrations by Mel. You know? There's so much scope. So much scope. There. Most of us have got the postcards now, haven't we? There's so much still to do. We're going to be together forever. Right, that'll do. Okay, so I think you get the idea with the beak, and you can, but I've only concentrated on one colour on the beak. Do you see? I didn't bring in the turquoises or the, so I can add a bit of shadow up there. So you can, it's just a different blue, isn't it, for the beak now? Right, so that's cool. Sorted. Yeah, I've never seen hummingbirds in this country. I've only ever seen them in America and in Hawaii. Oh no, I haven't seen them in, I don't think I've seen them in Hawaii. I'm trying to think. You'd think that they would be, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen them in Hawaii. You'd think that you would, wouldn't you? Right, now, next thing, I think we want to go for these big tail feathers here. Should we do those ones? Not tail feathers, these are the wings. Should we do the wings? So we're back to the 3 colours again now. And we're going to do the undercoat with the light one. And then we're going to put the shade in with the medium one. And then we're going to get right in with the dark one. So this shouldn't take too long now. We've done the intricate bits. So what we'll do now is we'll take the lightest one of your 3 colours, whatever colours you picked, and we're just going to run over the whole thing now, like this. Just go over the whole bird. Just make sure that you're in the actual frame. Just gently does it. Just get a nice little undercoat of this light colour. Just get these down like that. That'll work. Nice. Okay. I'm really not pressing hard at all, just to get the colour in. Just establishes the shade, doesn't it, that we're going to use. There you go. See, I've got to concentrate on what I'm doing. So I have to, yeah. And it's so good for you. Because I can't think about anything else while I'm doing this, really. Right, so we've got our colour down. Nice. Okay. We've got a basic colour down now, and I think we'll do the tails as well. Let's do the tail feathers because it's the same. It's going to be the same colouring process on these. So we'll just make sure that we avoid the beak. Right, let's make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Cool, this is chilled, isn't it? Right. How's the sound? It's all right, I am still here. I'm just zoning out into my little world of beautiful tail feathers. Right, so we've got a colour down now. Let's just get this. Now we've got a basic shade. Go over again. Just make sure that you've got that bluey down. Okay. Yeah, nice. They don't mate for life, hummingbirds. In fact, they don't even hang out together to raise the little ones. They only have 2 eggs, and the eggs are the size of a coffee bean. I mean, I've never seen a nest from a hummingbird, but I think they're so tiny. They're so minuscule, like so obviously they're just so tiny, and they're made out of twigs and cobwebs. Imagine that. And so they don't even last. You know, they just last enough for these 2 little coffee beans to be born, and then off they go again. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And they live, if they don't, you know, if they survive the climate and they survive the migration and all that, they can live for 3 to 5 years, these little guys. It's a powerful little thing, isn't it, really? You think about it. Right, so we've got a kind of an undercoat down now. Don't want to overcook it. Don't want to make too many stripes. Right, so we've got a lovely oily base now, haven't we? Right, now we've done that, what we want to do now is take our second colour. So the second colour is that one. Remember un, deux, trois? So now we're going to use this one, the medium one. And what we want to do now is get in here, here and here underneath. And that's what gives it that depth. I think I'm teaching you to suck eggs now. I think you realise how this works now, don't you? So this time we're going to get the flat of the pencil and we're going to put the medium one, the medium colour, about halfway, right? So you just slow little circular motions like that, always getting in on that line there. That's the line that we want to work towards, see? So you're going to do that there, like so. Get in tighter, and you can make it darker just by going another layer, another layer, another layer, like so. Fab, eh? And then here, and then here, you're going to go in like so, and then here, right? So you're going to catch in on those feathers like that, and then light feathery strokes. There you go. So now you're building up depth underneath, you see, and then you pick your pencil up a little bit taller, and then in you go into that little in the detail there, you see, and you'll see as it's brilliant, really, so easy to do, see. So then that colour, you just bring it down into the lighter colour, gently, 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 just fade it in. See, that fades into that one. See? Like that. And then when you get your blending pen on it, that's when it really looks amazing. So I know we're running out of time here. God, you know, this is brilliant though. And just let me show you. If I take my blending pen now, I'm just using the same turquoisey blue one. You need it, you know. And what we'll do is if you just come down like that, and you blend. Look at the difference between that bit that I'm doing now, there, and where I haven't been. See? That doesn't mean that you can't go back in again. I'm just blending in the colours so you get a really seamless look from the whiter area where the light blue was into the darker area. It just becomes seamless. See? And you're just taking this colour in here. You can darken it again. Look, go in again. And you could take this one, this colour, and you could have another generation of that colour. Use the flat though. Use the flat of your, yeah, you could put another little bit of that colour in if you think it's a little bit too white there. Yeah? You watch. And then you blend it. And then you blend away. And as you just go slight circular motions like this, the colours just bleed into each other like this. There you go, see? I tell you what I think. Can I make a suggestion? Yeah. Can I? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah. So it's already 11. It's already 11 o'clock. I can't believe it. We've done an hour, and all we've done is half a bird. But what a bird, eh? So I think, cool, these glasses. Let me just adjust my eyes. I think what would be really fabulous would be if you, how about you finish that bird, yeah? Finish that bird, and then maybe tomorrow we could try one of the other ones together, yeah? So we'll be faster tomorrow then. So finish that bird for homework and spend that time, that attention to detail that we keep talking about, because it's really good. It's like yoga for the mind, all right? And I'll finish my one as well. And then tomorrow we'll come in. Can you hear the birds outside? I opened one of the windows because it was quite stuffy in here earlier. And so because I'm on the first floor, I'm right in the trees. It's really fabulous. Lovely place to be when you're doing this. And so, yeah, so you finish that lovely tealy one, the tealy turquoisey birdie, and then tomorrow we'll crack on with the rest of them. Because by that time we could just do the job because we know what we're doing, because we've already done one. How's that sound? Because I think I'd like to do that, and then on Friday we can tidy it up and we can do a bit of black. If you fancy doing a kind of a little bit of the black around the outside, you don't have to go black. Just do get your black pencil out, your black, your black. There's one in the pergoliners and there's one in the polychromos as well, and just do a little bit of blackness around. Let me just show you, like that much, just a little bit around, just a light generation around. Don't have to do it all, but what we want to do is it's getting in there. You see, it's quite the challenge. So just stay. If you don't want to do the stamen, you can leave that out, and we can do that on Friday together. But maybe do the big areas that are easy to get the grey in. That would be brilliant if you did that, because otherwise, I can tell you now, it's going to take the best part of an hour just to get around the stamen. So anyway, I think that'll do for today. Oh, I tell you what, I did want to tell you. This is so cool. Did you know? We were talking about all the different names for groups of birds, Guess what a flock of hummingbirds is called? It's so lovely. So this little flock of hummingbirds, and I'll finish on this. Look at this, right? So a flock of hummingbirds, we've got 5 names for a flock of hummingbirds. There, I'll leave it like that so you can have a look at your homework, right? 5 names. This is so beautiful. They're called a bouquet, or a glittering, so a bouquet of hummingbirds, a glittering of hummingbirds, a hover of hummingbirds, a shimmer or a tune. A tune of hummingbirds. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that gorgeous? A hover, a shimmer, a bouquet, a tune. What was the fifth one? A glittering. Wow. I tell you what, the English language is wonderful. And so on that lovely note, I will love you and leave you. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, Steve, for all your help in the building. Do like and follow and share, or join up to our newsletter. It really does make sense. And I shall see you tomorrow morning. Have a lovely day. The sun is out in Crowborough. I hope it's shining where you are too. Lots of love to you. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock, ready to do the other hummingbirds. Bye-bye now.